Good, good. All right. Hi, everybody. It's Paranormal, and we are your hosts. I'm Rachel, and we have.
I started too soon. I'm Kaz. I was so excited. I'm like, it's me.
It's been, an exciting weekend.
Yes, exactly. I'm just
Oh my
happy
God.
to see someone else because we've been barricaded in our houses for 3
All we've
days.
seen is snow. More
Ooh.
snow. More snow.
Yeah.
And more snow.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of seeing snow. I don't care if I live in Canada. I'm done with it.
I think people in Gravenhurst, when they hear us be like, oh, we got 12 inches last night or whatever, they're like, fuck yourself. Because they've had 27 feet.
Like Bracebridge. Yeah. Just
They're just like, yeah, we haven't seen daylight in 7
this
weeks.
stuff's going to stick around until July.
Exactly.
Yeah, no thanks. They can keep it. They can keep it. And it is also Valentine's Day, Family Day weekend. I have done nothing. It's great. Actually, I shouldn't say I haven't done anything. I took the kid to the movies.
Oh, that's good.
Saw Dog Man.
I don't even know what movies are out there anymore. I don't know.
It was cute. It was cute, but I kind of got lost halfway through, and I'm like, this is moving way too fast for me.
Is Dogman from a comic book type thing, or is it
okay? Yeah. It's a book comic book. Yeah, it's about a cop and his dog cop friend, and they have an accident, and they just sew the dog's head onto the guy's body. Yeah, I don't.
What? Oh, wait, is this like Human Centipede, but PG-12? What is going on?
Oh, you know what? It was cute. I'll give it. It was cute. It was cute, and it kept the kids into it because it moved so fast. But
well, good. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and that's all I done because Valentine's Day is an overpriced day for people who just want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. To show off on social media and be like, oh my God, this guy right here. And then tomorrow they're like, fuck this guy right here. Yeah.
Whatever. Hey, half-price chocolates. That's all that matters.
That's true.
Right? Just like after Easter, it's half-price chocolate. Fuck Easter bunny. I'll just go get my chocolate the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Jay's looking at me like, the fuck are you talking about? What? Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it, Jay. What are you guys talking about? Half-price chocolate. Take a dick. We're recording, eh?
Oh.
Parental advisory now.
We don't need to know what happened on Valentine's Day on your end. Okay. Let's just move on. There are children listening.
My God. I'll tell you later, Jay. Oh my gosh. It's been a weekend. At least tomorrow is a stat holiday here in Ontario.
Yay.
Thank God, because I need another day off.
I love that it's the family day stat holiday when we're all like, I fucking spent 4 days stuck in this house with the family. I don't need another goddamn day. Oh, we're like, where is Mom goes to the spa by herself long weekend? Can I have that? For fuck's sakes. Good Lord.
My God.
With all of the half-price chocolate.
Yeah, exactly.
I just created the best long weekend.
There you
I'll
go.
send it to whoever. I don't know.
The next stat holiday. We need one in March. I don't know
March is Easter, I guess. Well, or not, depending when Easter falls, because no one knows.
Yeah.
Well, let's not delve into that bullshit. Anyways, speaking of chocolates and food.
Today's topic is dining with the dead. So haunted restaurants throughout Canada and Ontario, because we've investigated as the Paranormal Seekers. We've investigated a few, and food's great.
I was going to say, one of the best parts is, I guess we'll just have to stop and eat first.
Yeah.
It's a great job.
Oh my gosh. So I did a lot of looking into different restaurants throughout Canada that have ghost stories to them. And I guess I'll start because Yeah. I got a bunch. So let's start on the East Coast this time.
Okay.
So we're going to go to West Point Lighthouse Inn and Restaurant in O'Leary, Prince Edward Island. I almost said county because, I'm from Ontario. So the West Point Lighthouse was built between 1875 and 1876 by the Canadian Federal Department of Marine. I'm assuming that's something else now. The first 2 floors of the tower were part of the keeper's residence, with the bottom floor used as a parlor and the second floor divided into 2 bedrooms. The lighthouse was lit for the first time on May 21st, 1876, and the last keeper, Benny McIsaac, retired in 1963 when the system was automated. So the first keeper, William Anderson McDonald, operated the lighthouse from 1876 until 1925. He was known affectionately as Lighthouse Willie.
Okay, we won't delve into why.
Oh my goodness. So he never missed a single day of work during those 50 years that he was the lighthouse keeper. And it's said that his spirit is supposedly still haunting the area, which is he's often seen by guests and staff.
Can I just interject?
Yeah.
When they're like, he never missed a day of work. Did he not live there? Did he just roll out of bed and flick a switch? Good job, Willie. But really, I'm just saying. I'm just
live where you work where you live.
Yeah, it's not like he had to traipse across. But anyways, good job, Willie.
Yeah. So guests and staff at the West Point Lighthouse Inn and Restaurant have reported mysterious lights that turn on by themselves, voices out of nowhere, cold spots and apparitions, and then the apparition of Lighthouse Willie, who is known to be a friendly spirit.
I hope so. Or is that in quotations, like friendly in quotations? Because I don't hope so.
No. He's not. He's Casper. So in addition to Willie's spirit, the apparition of a burning ship. Here we go again. That centuries ago have been reported many times. Within the nearby Northumberland Strait, the legend is that the crew made a deal with the devil to save themselves and are cursed to burn for eternity.
Whoa! Oh my god! But you and the fucking ghost ships. I swear now your phone's just messing with you, and it's like, she's searching again. Throw in a ghost ship.
Pretty much. But here you go. Here is a little tie-in to last week's episode of Folklore and Urban Legends. There's also a tale of a 60 to 80 foot long sea serpent swimming in the waters near West Point. First told by the Micmac to European settlers, even as late as the summer of 1992, there have been 9 documented reports of people seeing it.
Okay. All right. Sure.
The PEI version of Ogo Pogo.
Good Lord. Well, my sister and I are going to PEI in July or June or somewhere. I don't know. I think June. So maybe we'll go visit that place. And
I've been to PEI. It's one of the places I have actually been to.
Well, yes. Isn't that where you stole stuff? I mean, your friend stole stuff. Oh, okay. Well, close enough. Me.
I took nothing.
Yep, that's the story. Well, that's interesting. Now, is that opened up now as a restaurant then, I guess, for people to go see? Or has the place you can go in and see it?
From what I could see, it was still somewhat open. So yeah.
Nice. Well, I'll keep you posted.
It's also a museum, so
Well, a lot of those national places, they open up as, go and have a snack and whatever else. And it would make sense. It's probably got a really good view. So
yeah, it's really pretty. We'll post pictures of this stuff on our Facebook and Instagram so everyone can see what it looks like. But it's super pretty because I already looked at it.
Nice. Well, remind me when I go there and I'll go have a look.
Okay.
All right. Well, my places I kept close to home because, and by home I mean Ontario. And pretty much everything that I'm going to talk, either I have been to or we have been to as a team. So we have firsthand knowledge. So the first place I'm going to talk about is in Mississauga. and it is Cherry Hill Pub. I went to this place a long time ago. It was originally at the corner of Dundas and Quarther Road. It is the oldest remaining homestead in Peel. So it was built in 1822 by the United Empire Loyalist Joseph Silverthorne. He, his wife Jane, and 12 children. Oh my God. 9 girls and 3 boys all lived in this place, and they called it Cherry Hill because they had rows and rows of cherry trees in an orchard behind the house. So it was just cutesy nicknamed, and the name stuck. In 1852, the oldest son returned from war with his fiancée, and so he got married across the street at the chapel. And then they decided to throw a huge party in the house in celebration. Halfway through the evening, there was a knock on the door by a mysterious stranger. George opened the door, greeted the stranger, stepped outside to speak with him, and was never seen again, ever. And they searched everywhere. They searched fields and ditches and lakes. They went for miles and miles, and he was never found. There was never a trace, ever. Now, there's one way to have cold feet and just be like, I need to get the hell out of here. So he was gone. In 1973, the house, so by this time, obviously, the family people have died and they've moved on, and it kind of fell into disrepair. And then a construction owner purchased the land in the house, and there was an old lady that lived in it. Her name was something Lindsay, I think. Denise Lindsay. Doesn't know. I didn't write it down because why would I do that? Anyways, I thought I had written it down. I just read it. Anyways, she was living there. It was a bit of a rundown kind of derelict place. And in order to get to it, you had to go down like this kind of beaten pathway. It was very overgrown. And so she was known as the Witch of Cherry Hill. And people would often, sneak in to try and get a glimpse of her, and she would chase them with her broomstick. And so it became this place of like mystery and intrigue. She did move out in the early 70s, and she died peacefully at a relative's home that she was staying in. But in 1973, the house had to be moved about 400 yards north to make way for the new road systems that were being put in place. So it is now on the corner of Silver Creek and Lolita Gardens. If you're from the area, you will know that. And then it soon after became designated as a historic building, and so it was kept as was. It is now a fancy restaurant on top, like fine dining, and underneath is an Irish pub, so you can go there. I've been to the Irish pub part, and it's kind of neat because it's almost not like you're going underground, but because you feel like you're under there, it's quite dark. From what I remember, it's a long time ago. And there was this massive fireplace with one of those chain things, that cover it, so it kept all the embers inside. Mm-hmm. And we were told that a spirit often was seen by the fireplace. So we sat there, I think a good 3 drinks we had before we saw nothing. But the massive hearth and the chain link thing is very creepy. I don't know what it looks like now because this was a long time ago. But at the time, very creepy. So after the house was moved, there were suddenly rumors of a young girl in the upstairs window. There isn't really much documentation of who she might be. There wasn't really any reports of a young girl dying in or around the property, so they're not really sure. When they were working on the house to kind of bring it up to the nice restaurant that you see it is today, a lot of the electrical work would be undone when they got there in the morning. A lot of tools would go missing, and there would just be disarray, to the point that they went through a lot of different companies because the guys kept walking off the job and saying, I'm not working here. Some shit's going down. Often there is sounds of footsteps heard on the stairwell and second level when no one is in the building or upstairs. Apparently, If you mention George's name by the front door will open and close by itself. Okay. One of the security guards who was patrolling the building was chased by an apparition riding a white horse. That's the
I would
best
have liked
one.
to seen that. That I would love to see.
I don't know that we've had a lot of
Because usually
apparitions
when
riding
something is
horses.
on a white horse, it's usually your, knight in shining armor is coming in on his white horse. This one's
And
chasing you.
does that mean that they both died together and the horse is a ghost? Like that goes into a whole other conversation. We'll have to do can ghosts be
That's a
animals
whole other
or animals be
podcast.
ghosts? Yeah. So there are quite a few images people have taken while in the restaurant, and there looks like someone standing there, or there could be figures, mostly in the upstairs fine dining area. And they find throughout the building cutlery moves, glasses break, etc., etc. So it's a cool place because you get to actually go there. And they're not shy about really talking about the ghosts. It's funny, the upstairs fine dining part, they're like, what? But then you go down in the pub and they're like, oh, we got ghosts, but they stay down here. Okay.
Yeah, they
Sure they do. Yeah. Except the horse ghost that just crash bashes around.
Okay. Is the horse ghost in the pub or is it
No,
outside?
it sounded like it didn't specify, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was outside because he was chased off the property. So I'm assuming, but maybe it was inside and he's like, what the fuck? And then it chased him out the door. I don't know. I'm wondering about this man's,
Someone had a few too many drinks.
exactly. Was he down in the Irish pub before he saw this? Who knows?
He was getting into the spirits.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah. But it is a very beautiful building. And
Mhm.
again, we're going to be putting the pictures up for you to see because it is something stunning.
Mhm.
I didn't have food there, so I can't talk about the food, but I'm sure it's delicious.
I haven't been to a haunted restaurant that didn't have good food, so
That's true.
right.
Maybe that's the special ingredients.
Yeah, just a little ghost.
Yeah.
Or two. Or one on a white horse. Anyways.
Oh dear.
So now we're going to go to New Brunswick, and keeping into the pub theme, we are going to go to Miramichi, and we're going to go to O'Donoghue's Irish pub. So Miramichi itself is known for dark tales, but one of the darkest features of the strange things that wander around is this 200-year-old sandstone building near the banks of the river, which is O'Donoghue's pub. Irish pub. So the building was built by John T. Williston in 1824. It was known as the John T. Williston House. It was a two-story stone residential structure located on Water Street in the city of Miramichi. So now O'Donoghue's Irish pub is a local watering hole. The building is said to be home to strange shadows in its basement. Again, with the basement. But its upstairs is where things get very spooky. Loud noises, lights switched on and off, footsteps, and even a ghostly apparition that appears in a window after closing time. Mm-hmm. That's all I have for that one.
That's pretty neat, though.
Yeah. But it literally says, in this little write-up that I found, it literally says, best to have a pint to drink before seeking out these restless spirits. So make sure you get...
Is there a pint or a pint?
Pint, whatever. Whatever.
I'm like, what's a pint?
It's a pint. It's a pint. It's a pint.
Nice.
Yeah. But, and then we'll just travel over one more province, and we'll go to Nova Scotia right now. To Resto Urban, which is in Bedford. So this is a casual, fine dining, family-run restaurant. It's located in the heart of Bedford, Nova Scotia. Its management team says that it has 90-plus years of experience in the hospitality and restaurant business. The property is a landmark and has been various restaurants for over 50 years, but most recently it's been the Resto Urban Dining since 2013. Now, originally it was called the Cellar Bar and Grill, but this new restaurant, so Resto Urban, sits next to the Sackville River, where legend says, it's not a ghost ship, a woman drowned herself in the late 1870s, and every so often, Elizabeth, as she's called, makes herself known and felt, typically after hours when patrons have left. And that's all I got for that one, too.
So who is she being to the staff then?
Yeah, I guess the staff
Okay.
just feel her. She makes her presence known and felt.
Yikes. Okay.
But that's pretty much it for, well, I got Newfoundland. Newfoundland. I guess we can do Newfoundland.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, well, we're going to Newfoundland, to Carbonear, probably not how you pronounce it, to a restaurant called the Stone Jug.
Well, you can have a pint.
Shut up. Oh my God. Anyways, the Stone Jug is a stone structure rebuilt in 1860 after a fire in 1859. The Stone Jug is rumored to have the first church in North America under the property, adding to a vivid history reaching back centuries. So I guess this pub is built on a church.
Oh, that's cool.
There are many claims that the building is haunted, as a known duel took place in the building, as well as an indentured servant who hung herself in the stairwell in the 1800s. Yep. So it was recently renovated.
I'm saying nothing.
I was going to say, I'm surprised there's no ghost ships on this one. Recently renovated. It presently is used as the restaurant and pub, and there's a theater on the third floor.
Damn.
Yeah. And they also have live music on the weekends. So maybe you could, see these duels going on in this servant girl who hung herself. That's pretty much, again, all I have. Because nobody likes to talk about their haunted restaurants out in the East Coast.
What on earth?
I know.
I would be all over it.
Yeah.
And then if the food was shit, I'd be like, oh, it's the ghost. That's like the perfect excuse.
This duel. Like, what was this duel? Did somebody walk up to somebody and hit them with a glove and be like,
I duel you?
Yeah. Was it guns? Was it
we'll never know.
I don't know.
And what'd she hang herself for? Let me guess. The love of her life wouldn't marry her, or never showed up for her wedding. Some bullshit like that.
Pregnant by your master is probably more like it.
Oh, yikes. I'll leave that one alone.
We're off.
Come on, East Coast. You got to do better and talk about your ghosts.
I know. That's not ghost ships.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now we come back to Ontario, and now we are somewhat in the heart of Toronto, and we're going to talk about Keg Mansion. It's a good one. This is located on Jarvis Street in Toronto. This elaborate mansion was built in 1867 by Arthur McMaster, and was and is a symbol of high society back in the day. It has 26 rooms and 17 fireplaces. Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
Bought in 1882 by Hart Massey and his wife. They had several children. Again, I didn't write that down, but it doesn't matter. After Hart's, his name's Hart, H-A-R-T. Okay. After Hart's death, his daughter Lillian took over and called it the Euclid Pint Hall. I love it. After Lillian's death, the house was entrusted to the University of Toronto. Isn't that strange? From there, it turned into a veterans hospital, into an art gallery, a radio station. it's been many, many different things over the year. Lillian actually passed in the home in 1915. Um, and shortly after her death, one of Lillian's devoted maids took the passing extra hard and hung herself in her room. I don't know why that's funny.
Why?
But like,
Why did they do this? It's just as bad as the women who are like, I'm just gonna kill myself because he doesn't like me anymore.
Maybe they were lovers, and back then that wasn't, you know, a thing. And so she was just like, "Oh, my boss died, so I'll hang myself."
Mm-hmm. True.
So, in 1975, the house received heritage status and soon after became Keg Mansion, which is part of the Keg Steakhouse and Bar chain. So it's actually like the Keg, as in the Keg restaurants. It's not just like, oh, let's just call it a fun name like Keg. It's actually the Keg House restaurant.
It's actually the Keg.
So Lillian, for sure, we know passed away in there. Bless you. Her maid also passed away in there. And young boy who was visiting the home fell down the elaborate front stairs and died on impact. Wow. I know.
Oh, God.
So now
that's awful.
I had no idea that actually like a little child died in there. Now if you haven't been to Keg Mansion, it's so Victorian Gothic looking from the outside. Like mansion is exactly the word. It's huge and like scary kind of looking, but amazing. Inside, also the same. It's very Victorian-esque, like heavy colors, that really dark red burgundy wood. Like it's pretty stunning to look at. Most people, when they go there, get an uneasy feeling, especially on the staircase. Now we know why. And in the women's bathroom. So when I went, I'd heard the rumors that if you go in the women's bathroom and say shit, the doors bust open. So I went in there with a video camera. That's a video camera because it was back in those days. And I sat there and videotaped myself peeing and talking to the ghost, and nothing happened. And when I came out of my stall, there was an actual like real life woman in there who's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's amazing. And I'm like,
talking to myself.
Yeah, pretending that I'm not just videotaping myself peeing. This was before OnlyFans, people. So
this podcast is taking a turn here.
Yeah. Anyway, back on track. So people often feel like they're being pushed up or down the stairs when they're walking on them. Again, there's a ghost apparently in the ladies' washroom. She opens and closes the stall doors while you're in there. Rude. A full body apparition is often seen floating around the house, especially the hallways, who might be the maid. Children laughing and playing are often heard, especially on the second floor. The staff often talk about doors opening and closing on their own. And again, with the cutlery and plates and glasses and stuff moving on their own, or, you know, they set them up, they go somewhere else, they come back, everything's moved, and there's no one else in the house. It's a very impressive place to go to, just for the aesthetics of it all. It's definitely got it. Oh, it's really pretty. It is. And it's one of those places that, again, it's all built up around it. So it's like condos and towers all around it, and then this like big Gothic looking mansion.
Yeah. I've never been in. I've been to the Keg, but I've never been to that Keg.
Yeah, it's something to see. That's all I have to say. So
we should go.
Going. We should.
We definitely should go.
I love it.
But here we go. Now we're going to Quebec. And again, it's an Irish pub. And it's in Montreal. They're all Irish pubs.
I know.
But this one's called McKibbin's Irish Pub. It is, I think there's a few of them because this one is the original one. And it is situated in a beautiful Redstone Victorian residence. It features Irish pubs and lots of beer on tap. And apparently the menu also features the ghost story of Mary Gallagher, the beheaded prostitute
Okay.
who returns to this part of town every 7 years.
Okay. Why?
I don't know why 7. So some of the staff members of the pub believe the pub is actually haunted. They've described a ghost who is sometimes spotted near the fireplace and unexplained gusts of cold wind that blow through the establishment. What is with ghosts and fireplace?
Well, I guess like back in the day, the fireplace was the heart literally of the building, right? It was where you kept warm, it was how you got your food. And a lot of places were just like one room place with a massive so maybe that just is comforting
Maybe.
to them.
Maybe.
Because remember, there's no new age ghosts. I don't know what the cutoff was for if you want to be a ghost, then this was it. But you don't ever hear of like the 1990s grunge ghost who's
Not yet.
coming,
No,
right?
hey,
Like,
maybe we could have come across one at Tanglewood. I don't know yet.
oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Or maybe they just like to hang out by the fireplace. Next time we go to a place with a fireplace that has a ghost there, we'll have to bring that up. We'll be like, listen,
Yeah.
fill us in. What's up with it? Maybe they come down through there like a Santa Claus type thing. I don't know. I don't know. That would
Oh.
explain the cold draft, though.
Oh my
FYI.
God. So this red sandstone residence that this pub is in is actually was built in 1904 by one of the most brilliant surgeons in Canada at the time, Dr. Frank Richardson England, and his wife, Grace Octavia Ritchie.
Oh.
She was the first woman to receive a degree in medicine in Quebec, apparently.
Oh. I kind of almost thought you were about to say Eva Henderson or the other one, and I was like, no way. But you did not say that.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. So yeah, so that's who used to own the house. But I guess the pub is haunted by this prostitute that comes every 7 years. I don't know. Maybe one of them. I don't know. They don't really say who they think is haunting it. They just somebody's haunting it. It's Quebec for you.
Don't say prostitute who comes every 7 years. And that would suck if that's the truth.
Oh my God. He was beheaded. Just remember that. The beheaded prostitute.
First she was giving head and then she lost her own. Jesus Christ. This episode's not going to be able to be played.
This should have been the Valentine's Day podcast.
Oh gosh.
Maybe we should just do one about ghost stories about prostitutes.
There's probably enough.
Well,
prostitutes and fireplaces.
Yeah. Prostitutes and fireplaces.
Maybe because they're burning in hell, so they're like, oh,
you never know.
Apparently.
This one won't have a head, so yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do another one because I only have 2 left.
I go to Manitoba, but apparently Manitoba has no haunted restaurants because I couldn't find a freaking single one.
Because there's only 3 buildings in Manitoba. So if you found a haunted field or barn, probably 1,000.
Yeah. But Saskatchewan, in Moose Jaw, we have Hopkins Dining Parlor. So apparently it is one of Saskatchewan's most unique restaurants with Victorian decor and antique furnishing. Ooh. It's got great prime rib and seafood and all that. 22 flavors of wings. It's open 7 days a week. It's great.
This sounds delicious.
I know. So the Wayne Pierce family purchased this house in July of 1978 and began searching for information on E.N. Hopkins, which I believe is the person who used to own it. They started collecting antiques, collectibles, pictures for this restaurant. So it is believed that a ghost haunts the basement and the women's bathroom. Oh my gosh.
Another bathroom.
Why is it always fireplaces, basements, and bathrooms?
And the women's bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe because the men's, who wants to go in there? Maybe that's why. But I don't know. Sometimes women get your stuff together. Like, damn.
So they believe that the ghost that haunts the basement in the women's bathroom is Minnie Hopkins, who was the wife of Edward Nicholas, so E.N. Hopkins. So in 1882, Edward was among one of the first settlers who migrated west. And after traveling by train and ox-drawn wagon, he landed in Moose Jaw and became a pillar of the community. He was elected to Parliament in 1923. He oversaw the building of schools and churches. He developed new trade and agricultural practices, and he was responsible for creating the Moose Jaw Wild Animal Park. No. So Edward and Minnie married in 1889, and in 1905 built the home that would one day become Hopkins Dining Parlor. They had 3 children, but one of them, Earl, drowned in the Moose Jaw River just 2 years after the family had moved into their new home.
Oh.
So years later, when Minnie did die, her funeral was held in what is now the restaurant's downstairs dining room, which is another one of her present-day haunts.
Oh.
So at least they know who this one is. It's Minnie.
Exactly. It should probably be nice because it was her house.
I know. And it was a bit, when you look at it, it's like, it literally just looks like a house. It's really interesting.
I like that though. I like when it's kind of set up like that and it's not all commercialized or.
Yeah, it's not like you're walking into, Boston Pizza.
Exactly. Like if you have a historical house and you want to maintain that, I don't understand when they try to fancy it all up. Like keep it that way. I mean, obviously repair the floors if they're that degraded. You're not like, and here we have historic floors. But
no,
and
you're in the basement now.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I don't like it when they try to modernize it. Like the whole point is it's a historical place. So that's cool. Awesome stuff. Well, I'm going to go to a place I think was one of the first ever places I officially did a ghost hunt with a good friend of mine. This is back in the day. I think my daughter had just been born. So we're talking like 20 years ago. Okay. Ancient times. I was really sad to learn that this building is no longer a restaurant and it's actually hinging on whether they want to tear it down, and people are trying to fight to keep it a historical building. It's in the middle of subdivisions, of course, and like everything being redone. It was a beautiful place and they're just like, let's put a condo. So I hope that it becomes a historical site and stays as is. I think it's kind of gone into a bit of disrepair, which is very strange because it was a stunning place when I went. But anyways, let's get into it. This is called the Barber House of Mississauga. William Barber built the house in the late 1850s. There's no actual date here that I have written down. He was associated with the predominant Barber family, which was one of the founders of Toronto Woolen Mills, one of the largest employers of the area. There is not a lot of information at all about William. I couldn't even find the name of his wife. Like, there's hardly anything out there. It's so strange. So Italianate architecture, I don't know that word, with a classic revival influence. Sounds posh. It's a 2-story brick exterior with 4 chimneys, protruding main entrance, and a veranda extending around and across the front of the house. It honestly is a stunning looking, beautiful place, or it was. And the protruding front entrance made it seem almost glamorous. So you would pull up and then you'd get out and you'd walk kind of like up a carpeted area. Like you felt honestly like you were glamour. And when I went, it was high, like fine dining. It was not just like burger and fries, please. Like it was fancy pantsy stuff. There were 2 levels. So when I went, the lower level was sort of the fine dining, and then the upper level was more for parties and private events. It had 2 rooms. So you went up this beautiful staircase and it had 2 rooms that could be separated or doors open to make the whole thing. So if you had like a big reception, let's say, you could have 2 rooms. So the third sorry, 3-year-old Martha, who was the daughter of William. She died of the flu in 1860. Again, there's not a lot of anything about the family that lived there or what happened. When I went, I was told that they had a lot of children and a number of them died of an epidemic, it was called, in the area, which I think was influenza. And then the wife, the mom, went crazy because the kids were all dying off. And then they think she killed herself because she couldn't handle that her children would die. This was what I was told. So there is information that 3-year-old Martha did die of some sort of epidemic of the time. I'm thinking the flu back in those days. Many people have seen her in or around the second floor staircase. So I wrote down here the folklore. This is kind of what I had heard, that he had 6 kids in total, 3 of which died of the epidemic, and the wife couldn't take it and killed herself. Now, this would have been up in the second level. When we went up there, so when you go up the stairs, you kind of go into an open area and then you can turn left into a room or right into a room. From what I understood, right was where the kids' bedrooms were, and that's where they were all sick and died. It's a very strange feeling when you went up there. So when we went, it was an Italian man that owned it and his 2 grown sons. And he was trying to retire and the sons take over the place. My friend knew one of the sons who was like, you got to come check this place out. It's haunted. So we got to come after hours. And all of the patrons had left, but they were just doing the final cleaning up. And so he's like, I'm going to sneak you upstairs because they still need to clean downstairs. And we're like, great. So as soon as we went upstairs, I'm like, I don't like this place at all. Like, it was very oppressive. And that's when he was like, oh, rumor has it, blah, blah, blah. She died there. So they do hear children coughing a lot, or children crying out. Sad. On that same second level was a woman's washroom. And so we had heard that there's sometimes the lady is seen in there. We assumed the wife. On the way in, there's this giant oil painting of a woman. And the guy's like, I'm not entirely sure who that is. It came with the house. We think it was the wife. I'm once again videotaping with my video camera. And I'm not paying attention at all. I'm listening to him. He's talking about it. I'm sort of at this point just holding the camera, don't even realize it's on the picture of a woman. Out of the woman floats this weird, it's the only time I would use the word orb. It literally comes out of her painting, like out of her. It floats one way, stops, floats another, floats down, floats up, and then slowly goes off into where the bathroom was. I'm not seeing any of this at the time, of course. And then we heard a noise in the bathroom and went in there. And he's like, oh, yeah, women see her all the time in there. And so we didn't see anything in there. We came out to an extremely angry dad who lost his mind because we were there, because it was a high-end restaurant. And he's like, if people hear there's ghosts here, they won't come. And he was so irate. And I thought, this Italian man's going to beat my ass. He shunned out, like we had to get out immediately. So we couldn't even do anything else. But little did I know, I had already captured this really cool thing.
Well,
and
the internet says a lot of stuff too.
Yeah. So, and now this place, of course, unfortunately, is in this limbo. So I really hope one day it is considered heritage and they reopen it, because it is something to really see. And although you can't currently go there, I wanted to add it because it was such a great place and I had such a good experience.
Damn, I wish we could investigate.
I know. Well, I don't even know who owns it now. I'm guessing the city, if they're deciding, but I don't know. We could look into it and maybe try and find out before they tear it down like the dicks they are.
Like they do everything else.
Oh, disgusting.
Well, I also found one that's already closed and all that. And this one's in Alberta. It's called the Rose and Crown. It's in Calgary. It is now closed, but they were really into their ghosts. So This building used to be a former funeral home.
I love it already. Say more.
You know, literally dining with the dead. So it is, or was, I should say, one of Calgary's most famous haunted spots. It was located just off the corner of 17th Avenue and 4th Street Southwest. Over the years, the staff there have seen things like lights coming on in the attic, an apparition of a young boy hanging around in the basement. So here we go again with the basement. So they do have 3 ghosts, and they actually, they've gone into describing them. So of course you have the little boy. He's the first of the ghosts that they usually talk about. And this story goes back to the time that the building was a funeral home. So when the building was a funeral home, a family responsible as caretakers of the building lived on the 3rd floor, which was normal back then. So I guess they assume that this little boy is part of that family. His apparition has been seen throughout the pub. What the heck is a pub? The pub.
It's where you get your pins.
Oh my god. Anyways, so his apparition has been seen around the pub at various times. He has been seen lurking behind the furnace in the pub's basement, where staff believe cremations likely took place.
Nice.
But
do they use the same grills for the food?
Oh,
is that why they close down?
Or they cook the pizza in the big oven? No.
Done in 3 seconds.
But they don't know his name. Then you have the lady in the big white dress and the middle-aged man. Because, just saying a male apparition was, gotta define him as the middle-aged man. So the second ghost has been described as a middle-aged woman, often seen wearing a large white and billowing dress. And she has been reported as being seen all over the pub. And a third one has been described as a similarly aged, nondescript man. So he's just some dude, some middle-aged dude that just is seen. So while the little boy has been the most seen out of the 3 ghosts, all 3 of them are believed to be responsible for the odd sounds of people walking around the upstairs when there's nobody up there. And likely the cause of the neighbors seeing lights flickering on and off in the middle of the night after staff have left the building.
Wow.
Those damn middle-aged ghosts.
That's too funny. I love it. It was like a woman in white with long hair and some dude. Like they don't even bother to describe him. They're like,
he's just some dude, some guy, some middle-aged guy. That's Alberta for you.
And that's closed down now, so you can't go there?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, what happened to it? Oh, to have an old funeral home. I love it.
I know. It's been to a few. Investigated one that's been on TV.
I know. And now they charge a fortune for.
Yeah, they do, but
it's beautiful though.
It is an absolutely gorgeous place, and they have done a wonderful job at bringing it back to life. Literally. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, now I take us to a place that we investigated not too long ago that we had a great time at, which is the Dominion Hotel in Minden, Ontario. And the reason I picked this one is because we had a really great meal, and then the owner was amazing, and then we got to just have free reign of the place. So it's worthy of a visit. And Minden is a really cute town.
It is. And of course, if you go stay at the Dominion in the summer, you can just walk, 5 minutes up the street, and you can go to the Cultural Heritage Center that we also investigate.
Exactly. It's a cool little place.
It is.
So the building was built in 1865. It started out as a small log shanty. It was built by Daniel Buck to essentially service the construction and logging workers of the area. But it also had a tavern, of course, because there's probably nothing else to do there. Just chop wood and drink booze. So Daniel married Mary Jeanette, and they had 7 children in total. In 1863, he rebuilt it to build it a much sturdier wooden building. But unfortunately, shortly after in 1879, there was a massive fire, which was the first of 3 fires in the town. And his the not that it was called the Dominion at the time, was burnt down. And
I think it was
so
called Buck's Hotel or something like that.
it was like Buck's Cabin or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was rebuilt by James Thompson, who had then took over proprietorship, and he turned it into the Dominion House. And it was essentially still a tavern and a hotel for the weary travelers. It's changed ownership many times, but is now owned by one of the nicest guys named Sean. There you
Yes.
go. I was like Shane, but no, Sean makes
No,
sense.
it's fine. Yeah.
And it is still a hotel and a restaurant. I believe there are 6 rooms, and it's a great little place. And the restaurant is like hip happening hopping. They have it open with live band and music in the summer. It's a really cute little place. It is also one of the oldest businesses still operating in the county, so it's kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most often there is the presence of a little girl that is felt and seen. They believe that she is Mary Buck, who was one of the daughters of Daniel and Mary Jeanette. She died in 1843 in the house. She was only about 2 or 3 years old, but when people describe her, she seems to be a little bit older. So it's not 100% it's her,
Mm-hmm.
but a little girl has been noted in and around the building, because when we went, Allison picked up on her and she was
Mm-hmm.
like around the back of the building. So maybe it was from before, like we don't know the blueprint per se of what the Buck household would have looked like compared to what is there now. So maybe that's it. Um, so basically, as soon as we got started when we went, the equipment started going crazy, especially in that elaborate bedroom bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
The K2 meter went off. We had to get another one because we thought it was malfunctioning. The REM pod was going insane. We got another one. It went insane. We caught figures on the SLS camera. We had the bells dinging. We heard footsteps
Mm-hmm.
up in the attic, where they used to, I think, like just worker men would be up there, right? Like laying in the rafters. Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
they got to stay up there. Um, Ryan did a Estes method, and it got real dark real quick,
Mm-hmm.
and was pretty creepy. But all in all, it seems like very nice ghosts. They don't seem
Mm-hmm.
to ever be demonic or hurtful. Anybody that's gone has been like, "Oh, can you thank the maid for turning up that down, or thank the maid for coming in and checking on us?" And the owner's like, "What? We don't have anyone doing that." There have been times where people being like, "Can you ask the people upstairs to stop moving around so much? It's a bit loud."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "There's literally no one above
Yeah.
you. Like, there's not even a roof up there." So that's about the extent of it all. There's
Mm-hmm.
one room in the front where an older lady is seen, and she seems to have that like grandmothery presence, and people are like, "Oh, I liked the old lady that came in and sat on our bed." But she doesn't exist. So I highly recommend going to the Dominion
Yeah.
Hotel in Minden. Food is fantastic. The owner is hilarious. He's such a lovely man who I think he's there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Does he stay? Do they have a place there, or does he live somewhere else?
No, he lives somewhere else.
Okay. I couldn't remember if that was the case or if they had like their own room in the back.
Yeah, no.
But it's a fantastic place,
Yes.
and you can stay overnight
Yeah.
if you want. And they love their ghosts. So if you go and you're like, "We're here for the ghosts," they'd be like, "Let's talk about it," and show you around. They're very welcoming.
They are. Yeah, he's super cool.
Yes. And we have like the full story of our ventures there and more
Mhm.
about the history of it on the Paranormal Seekers website. So I would recommend going there to read
Mhm.
more about it and seeing all the stuff that happened as it played out, because it was chaos
It was
the
cool.
entire time.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So now I'm going to take you to the last province on the West Coast. Yeah, I didn't do the territories because nothing up there really that much. Anyways, so we've got the Bard and Baker in Victoria, BC. What a surprise, Victoria,
Mhm.
So it opened in 1885 as the Bank of British Columbia. The
Oh.
building remained a bank until 1988, under a different array of different bank establishments control. Of all the bank employees to work at this location in 126 years, it was most notable for the Bard of Yukon, Robert Service. Because, I don't know. So Robert Service was
Okay.
born in Lancashire. Oh my gosh, you'll probably know this word. Lancashire, England.
Lancaster?
I don't know. There's no T in it. It's Lancashire. England.
Lancashire.
There you
Lancashire.
go. In 1874, and he was the eldest of 10 children. While still a young boy, the family moved to Glasgow, Scotland, where Robert started school. He was mainly a solitary child who immersed himself in books and his own imagination, yet he still found time to get into fights. I put my notes over with other children.
Mm.
So he kind of in 1896 at the age of 22, Robert moved to Canada in search of new travels and adventure. So during the next 8 years, he wandered up and down the west coast of Canada and the United States, trying his hand at a variety of different jobs. And I guess he was a writer, so it all went into his writings. So legend has it that the ghost who looks out of the window of the upstairs room of the Bard and Banker is none other than Robert Service, because he did live in the building back then when it was the bank for a while before he moved to the Yukon. And at one point, he did have a traumatic experience while looking out the window at the pavement below. It doesn't say what it was. It just said this experience would haunt him until his dying day and possibly into the hereafter too, since he still revisits that upper window in the building.
What? So this massive thing happened that scared the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And no one knows what it is.
No.
He just stared at the pavement and was like, I can't do it. And then that was
and apparently he still comes back and stares more at the pavement. Ghosts are weird.
What did you see on the pavement?
I know.
What
I'm like,
happened?
that's what I was like. I was like, what did he see? Like,
oh my gosh. I mean, well, let's face it. If you go anywhere in Oshawa, you can see some crazy shit happening on the pavement.
Yeah, you can.
It's traumatic. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. But that's the ghost stories for the West Coast.
Well, there we go. Well, now you're like spoiled for choice, whether you're traveling around Canada or just staying in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of places you can go.
Mm-hmm. Did you have another one or?
Nope, I did not.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about the one that's behind me in my picture here.
Yes.
This is like the most infamous one. This is Jester's Court. Jay's looking at me funny. This is Jester's Court in Port Perry. So yeah, it's pretty infamous. It's well known. It's been on like Creepy Canada and a whole bunch of stuff. It is a pub. It's got some good food. Great staff. The house dates back. I'm just going off of memory here because I've done a lot of research and I'm just trying to remember. And I didn't write it down. But the house does date back to the 1800s. Unfortunately, Port Perry did burn down twice. The first time, I believe this house, the original house on the property was part of the burn down. So it was completely destroyed. And then this one was built. And this one was built and purchased by James Carnegie. And he lived here with his family. He had a wife and sons, and I think he had some daughters. I'm not quite sure about the daughters, but I definitely know about sons. And eventually when he would pass, the house would be, switched down to a whole bunch of other different people. Eventually, I don't know exactly when. I think it was the 80s.
1997. I did some research on this. Yeah, for Jester's Court.
Yeah,
that's
but
when
before
they
that,
opened.
Yeah, but before that, it was another restaurant.
Oh.
Yeah. And I can't
that
remember.
I don't have.
And I think it started with a W. and I can't remember the name off the top of my head right
Wester's
now.
Court.
It was like the something house. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. It was owned by an older couple. And then yeah, it became Jester's Court, and it has been that ever since. And they have quite a interesting ghost story, which they will share. Like they're not shy to talk about it. So we have a few ghosts. So people have seen a older couple dining in the side room off of the main floor. It's an older man and a woman. They usually see them at night. They see it lit by candlelight when nobody's there. There is also a lady in a blue dress that people have seen.
Of course.
A little boy or a little girl or both, depending. And then there is a grumpy old man on the second floor. Now, that grumpy old man seems to be Mr. Carnegie.
Oh.
I don't think he's impressed that people are in the house, but he doesn't really have a say anymore. And then, of course, there is one that likes to haunt the women's bathroom on the second floor.
Of course.
Well, that bathroom is scary enough as it is, especially when you sit down and your knees touch the door. So,
yeah. And you feel like you're falling. For me, I feel like the front of that, or not the front, but like where you are, you're like falling out. I don't know why. It just feels like it's off tilter.
Yeah, it's just the floor because it's old, right?
Yeah.
But no, Jester's Court, like they really embrace their ghosts. So the Paranormal Seekers, like in the past, we did a Dine with the Dead there. So we did presentations on the second floor. It was like a buffet style dinner. And we had like a presentation, and then we did a little ghost box session, like kind of investigated with everybody. There are other Dine with the Deads there now with a psychic by the name of Kathy. She does her stuff there as well. I think that's pretty much it right now. But yeah, so it is on Queen Street in Port Perry, right pretty much at the corner of Simcoe. And yeah, you should go visit if you're local, or if you're not and you're just coming to Port Perry, just go visit.
We were also in a documentary, and it was featured in there. So, and we caught some cool stuff when we were doing that. Actually, Mr. Carnegie came through.
Yeah, I should probably post that with this. That's Chasing the Paranormal. We have the YouTube video on all that up. So yeah, I should post it with this as well, and then people can see. It's kind of cool. But yeah, that's definitely, you can definitely dine with the dead there.
I will say I don't get much when I go there. I've never gone in the bathroom and be like, oh, like some people were afraid to go in there. I did before I knew any of this stuff. Actually, before I knew you guys, Mark and I had gone there, and for some reason, that side room, I was like, oh, I don't like that room at all. Like something's not. It just felt really strange. And then when I met you guys, you're like, oh, it's because there's a couple that hang out in there. Sounds like they're a very nice, cute little couple, but it feels a really weird thing. And I wonder, like, the decor is kind of cool. Like there's a suit of arms half like on the landing of the stairs, which in itself, I don't know, maybe it's just me. When I see stuff like that, instantly it's like spooky and scary. And I don't know if it sets the tone, but I've been upstairs and I sat in the washroom, and I didn't video that time, but I did. I was like, come and get me, ghosts, or whatever. I didn't say that, but it didn't, other than I felt like I was going to fall out the window.
Yeah.
And you're right, the door's here, and you're like, okay. But other than that.
Well, speaking of windows, we actually did investigate the place back in 2012. And it was a night that they thought they were going to be quiet, but apparently another bar somewhere in the area closed early. So, of course, all those people made their way down to Jester's Court. And the windows are original in this building. And some dude who was probably inebriated was banging on them. And I can't remember who it was, but one of the staff chased this guy down the street with a hockey stick. So it was the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
I was going to say, sounds about right.
So yeah, but yeah, that's Jester's Court in Port Perry.
Yeah.
Don't bang on the windows.
That's crazy. Yeah. I did not know that. But it's a cool, like I said, we caught some cool stuff. Mr. Carnegie came through for us. Like he spoke quite a few times when we did the documentary. So
Yeah.
The upstairs has a bit of a weird vibe to it.
Yeah.
But again, it's also got like the decor that kind of, it's darker. It looks
It's
a little
dark.
more
Yeah,
spooky.
yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a place if you want to check out. Go have your haunted
Yeah.
meal there. Go dine with the dead there.
Exactly. Definitely worth checking out.
Well, that's all I've got.
Me
But
too. I mean,
if
I could have
anybody
gone on and on and on, but
yeah, if
I didn't.
anybody out there has a haunted restaurant or pub or whatever in Manitoba, please let us know because I couldn't find a damn thing and I really know why. There's always a
Oh my
haunted
gosh.
pub somewhere. Somebody in Manitoba, tell us where it is.
Wow. They don't have the internet to be able to pass on the stories.
Oh my God.
That's how isolated they are.
Snail
Oh
mail.
dear.
But yeah, but no, if you have a story from Manitoba, send it to us. You can email us at paranormalpodcast@gmail.com. That's PAREHNORMAL podcast@gmail.com. Or you can comment on our Facebook. You can comment on our Instagram. Heck, you can even comment on our TikTok. But other than that, that is it for this week. What is next week's?
Why
I know.
there are ghost horses, I think, is what we should do.
Oh,
There should be a lot more.
Haunted Northwest Territories. That one, that's a fun one to research because I've already started.
Wow.
It might be a short episode.
Yeah, exactly.
We can talk
And
about
the end.
we can talk about ghost horses.
We need to have some sort of discussion about ghost animals
will.
because do they
I know.
exist?
There's lots. There's
Yeah.
lots. I've got my own
That's, you know
story.
what it is? Sometimes when I'm walking and just trip out of nowhere, it's some ghost cat that's like, that's what it is. Those little bastards.
Little prick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Or you're like, oh, what is that? And it's a ghost spider. Oh,
Oh, that wouldn't bother me. I
wow.
wouldn't care. Even if it was a ghost bat.
Oh, I'm sure they have those.
But anyway.
Terrifying.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's it for this episode. So,
Yeah, we've got to go shovel some more.
I'm not shoveling anymore. Screw it. I am not doing any more shoveling.
I act like I've done it. I just watch Mark from the window while he's
Yeah, you're lucky. That's
in
why
the tractor shoveling it. I'm like, have fun.
Yep, you blow that snow.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. Have a great
All
week.
Bye.
Stay dry, stay safe, and find me a restaurant in Manitoba that's haunted. Okay, bye.
Bye.